Hi, and welcome to Worldwide Canadian. I'm Tim Clark. I finally did it. We have 2 electric vehicles in our family. I'll tell you all about it and why I chose the Hyundai Ioniq 5. Stick around. Well, if some of you viewers who have seen my video about 3 weeks ago, I hinted that I was starting to consider trading in my 2022 Kia Sorento for another battery electric vehicle. And I did some research on the internet, starting with Google searches for used particular EV cars. I was looking on Clutch and autotrader.ca. And after all of my research, I happened to be driving by my local Hyundai dealer in Bridgewater, and on the lot was the same exact car that I really wanted to buy 2 years ago when I bought the Sorento, the 2022 Hyundai Ioniq Preferred. And this particular car was listed at a price that was $3,500 Canadian below what the average price that I was finding for this particular car. It also only had 25,000 kilometers. So based on that, I thought, well, there's no way that that's going to work within, trading in my car and not taking a huge loss. What a lot of people may not be aware of is the price of used cars were very high during COVID, and they've started to drop significantly. So a car that you paid more for back in 2022 might have lost about 30% value total in depreciation since then. So I had a quandary. Number one, how much was I willing to go in the hole to buy this vehicle that I wanted originally? Well, it turns out that I went to the dealer and I negotiated the deal that they first offered me, and they only wanted to pay me a smaller amount than I wanted to accept on the Kia. I had already worked out on a spreadsheet, based on the trade-in value and the savings on taxation, because when you trade a vehicle, you get that value against the new vehicle before tax. And so anyway, what ended up happening was we couldn't come to an agreement on the price of the trade-in amount. I was okay with the price of the car, the Ioniq, because it was already $3,500 lower than what the average one it was worth with that amount of kilometers. So I went home and I started my search again, because at that point in time I was kind of set on the idea. In any case, they called me back that afternoon, and the salesperson said that they were willing to give me the additional funds that I had originally wanted, which was $5,000 more than they offered me the first time. Now, they got a good deal on my Kia because it was serviced every 6,000 kilometers at the dealer, and it had an extended warranty to 140,000 kilometers that I purchased on it from Kia. And it also had a tire and rim warranty that were all transferable to the new owner. And it had the remainder of the manufacturer's warranty. So based on all of that, I went ahead and bought this beautiful car. And the only negative, which I had to sacrifice a little bit for, was the fact that this is the 58 kilowatt hour standard range preferred, which gives me about 350 kilometers in the summertime and about 300 in the winter. Now, the way I look at this is based on the fact that my Bolt will give me slightly more than that, but charges at 1/4 the speed when the battery and the temperatures outside are ideal, that maybe I didn't need the extra 100 kilometers, let's say maximum difference in the distance I could travel before charging, because the charging would be that much faster. I was finding that I was spending on the average of an hour to charge in Masstown, Nova Scotia, and then to come back home. But with the Ioniq 5, I was able to charge in 15 minutes for the same amount of distance. So as long as you can find an open charger and the chargers are evenly spaced on the highway for the trip you're taking, and you don't mind that 15 minutes of charge time, I find the Ioniq 5 is actually going to save me on charging time, and I don't mind the difference. Now, one caveat is that I have a level 2 charger installed at home, like a lot of people do. 75 to 80% of people who buy electric cars will have their own charger. So there are about 30% of the population out there that if they buy a car, they have to find a charger somewhere else. That changes the idea of having the standard range battery. But again, I don't have to wait a year or so, because the Hyundai dealership tells me a new model Ioniq is still about a year away for some people, depending on the dealership you're going to. So I'm happy overall. I did, like I said, make that little sacrifice on 25% less capacity in the battery, but again, for me, it's not a major issue. Now, a lot of people do concern themselves with range, and they only want to buy the maximum range they can get, and Tesla says in some of their cars they can get 500 kilometers, but that's not always true. It depends on how you drive and how you treat the battery and charge the battery and the temperatures and all of that. So I'll be doing some more content on the Ioniq 5 2022 model that I have. For now, I've shown you throughout this video a couple shots of the car just so you can see it. It is black in color, which wasn't the original one that I had driven. I had driven the light blue version, but I kind of like the way that it looks, and it does drive wonderfully. I'll be giving a full review once I've had some time to drive it a little further. I want to thank you for watching my video, and if you have any questions, please put them down below in the comments and try to be as kind as possible. In the meantime, if you can like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, that helps me a lot, and also click on that bell icon so you can be notified when I upload new content. That's it for me. I'm Tim Clark, and this is Worldwide Canadian. I'll see you next time right here.